What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be doing a voiceover on reupholstering the A-pillars on my 2006 Mercedes-Benz E350 or any W211. So I've always hated my interior for the longest time. I'm not a fan of 10 interior. It just gets dirty way too quick and you can see all the dirty marks on it. So my plan with my car is eventually to replace everything with black interior, and obviously I'm doing the A pillar right now, but eventually I want to do the B pillars and C pillars, and eventually I want to do the headliner as well. But if I'm being honest with you, after reupholstering just the A pillars, I think I'm gonna have someone else do the headliner because it just is a lot of work and I trust someone else doing that rather than me. So yeah, if there's anyone in Austin that reupholsters headliners and or even does the starry night skies with all the LEDs, like there's a company called Oaklite, I think, but there's a company out in California that does like the Rolls-Royce headliner. If there's someone out here in Austin that can do that, hit me up. I'm definitely down to do that. I think that'd be pretty cool. So before we get started, I did want to mention a couple of things. I am not a professional. I'm just a DIY guy. I love working on cars. I love working on my own stuff, and I love bringing you guys along with me just so you guys can at least learn something or learn how to do something through me. So yeah, if you see anything that I've done wrong, just make sure to comment down below, let me know. That way I know in the future, or if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a comment down too. I really appreciate that. So yeah, with that being said, we'll go ahead and post the tools and the parts that you'll need for this job. After seeing this post, just go down below to the description. I'll put links to probably everything, if not most everything that you guys will need in order to get this done. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and let's go ahead and get into this video. Alright guys, so we're gonna go ahead and take the trim out of the door just enough to get the A-pillar to come out. And all you're gonna have to do is try and get your fingers behind the top of the A-pillar and then just pull towards you. And then just work your way down to the bottom. There's about, I think, 2 clips holding the A-pillar itself. So it's not really that hard to get it out. Just the bottom part of it is kind of a pain. You have to twist it a little in order to pop it out. And the same goes for the passenger side. It's pretty straightforward. And one thing I did want to mention is make sure to put the door trim back where it was before you close the door. That way you don't damage it. Alright guys, and that is how you remove this side. I am a little concerned. I don't know if you can tell by the lighting, but I got a lot of rust on this panel right here, so I'll have to, I guess, inspect the airbag possibly, make sure it's still good, and that'll be it. So now time to reupholster. Alright folks, so here is the A-pillar. As you can tell, I've already started ripping it from the bottom up, and I was kind of skinning it with my razor blade, and I just found that that was taking too long for me to do. So what I started doing was going around the whole A-pillar and just kind of pulling the fabric around the corners to see if it would give, and luckily I did find a couple of spots that gave. So what you see me doing here is just pulling the fabric whole as it is, and that was the easiest way for me to do it. Now you see me pointing to the steam cleaner in the back. From doing previous research through other YouTube videos, I found that a lot of people recommended a steam cleaner, but in my opinion, I didn't have to use it at all. So if you have one, I'd bring it along just in case, but you don't need it. It's not necessary. So I've already taken the fabric off of this pillar. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the whole A-pillar and just make sure to get as much residue and debris off of it as best as we can. The cleaner it is, the cleaner we're going to be able to put the new fabric on, and the easier the glue is going to adhere to the pillar as well. So yeah, prep is huge, guys. I can't recommend enough how much prep work goes into this. So the more time you take prepping this, the better. And you'll see me here with my razor blade just kind of knocking off all the old fabric that didn't come off when I pulled the rest of the fabric. And there's a bunch of glue on there too, so take your time with that. I found that the bottom of the A-pillar is always going to have the most residue, so take your time with it. It does take a while, so just be patient. Next, what we're going to go to is the edges of the A-pillar. So when you pull the fabric off, make sure to check the edges. You're most likely going to have some fabric all along the edge. So what you see me here doing is just removing all that fabric from the edges. And once you do that, you're going to get a bunch of little hairs sticking out from the fabric. So what I end up doing next is I grab my little torch and I just start going all around the edges of the A-pillar with my torch just to knock down those little hairs. And it's pretty easy, it works really well. Once you're done torching the whole pillar, what I would do is go back and just kind of get a razor blade, kind of clean off the old burnt off hair. Make sure it's as clean as possible for when you install the fabric. And another thing to note is be careful on the back of the A-pillar when you're using the torch. Try not to burn off the insulation that's in the back of the A-pillar. I did that on a few spots on my pillar, so just be very cautious with that. So once we're done prepping the A-pillar, we're going to go ahead and install the glue or the adhesive onto the A-pillar. So a few things to note with this glue, guys. First off, this glue is very strong, so make sure you have the door open, the garage door open, a fan to circulate the air, or just make sure that you're in a well-ventilated area when installing this glue. It's very strong, so be careful with that. The next thing I wanted to note is the dry time for this glue is 20 minutes, so don't worry about the glue drying up too fast. You have some time to work with it. So make sure you get every single surface area on this A-pillar, guys. You don't want to leave any spot untouched. And the next thing I wanted to note on this glue as well is it's kind of like the adult version of Elmer's glue. I'll kind of put a video up, but I put glue on the table, and once you let it dry all the way, you can just kind of rub it off and it'll come off, which is great. But once you get it on the material itself, it does not come off. So make sure to be very careful with that. And then we're also going to go ahead and put a light coat on the fabric itself. So on the A-pillar, I'd put a light to medium coat. On the fabric itself, make sure to put a very light coating. This is kind of where I messed up. I'll put up a picture, but I think I messed up on the bottom A-pillar. I left too much glue in one spot and it kind of seeped through to the other side. Once you put it on, the best thing I can recommend for you is to massage any air bubbles out from underneath the fabric as best as you can. This does take a while, so just take your time, don't rush it. Again, the glue takes 20 minutes to dry anyways. And speaking on that too, when installing the fabric, even on the back side of the A-pillar, I would wait at least 5 to 10 minutes for it to kind of dry by itself. Once we're done putting this fabric on, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start cutting the fabric to the shape of the A-pillar. So if it's your first time doing this, make sure to leave at least ½ an inch of fabric all the way around when you trim the fabric to the A-pillar. Just that way you have some extra material if you need it. I'd rather you guys have that extra material than cut it too short and then have to start all over again. So now that we're getting to the back side of things, I'd say the top of the A-pillar is going to be the easiest to wrap around, and this is probably what's going to take most of your time because you're going to have to make some relief cuts all around these corners that this fabric is going on. So that takes a lot of time and just patience. So take your time with it, and again, make sure to put glue on both the back side of the pillar and on the fabric itself. One thing that you're going to notice here that I just kind of ran my finger across was there's a lot of ribs behind these A-pillars. So what I did was I would glue the fabric to the back of the A-pillar, and then I would cut slits all along the ribs. That way the fabric would sit in between those ribs. And the reason I did that was I just felt like leaving more material on the back side of things would give it a better chance to stick itself. I felt like if you cut the fabric too short, you run the chance of it kind of not sticking to the backside, and then if that happens, then it would just start slowly coming off, and then it would slowly come off in the front of the A-pillar as well. So just be mindful of that. Make sure you have enough material to use in the backs that it'll stick on and not come off. Another thing I wanted to add too, guys, is I used 2 brushes personally. I used one brush for one day and the second brush for the second day. I'm pretty sure you can knock this out in one day with one brush if you really wanted to, but I wanted to take my time with all of this just so I did everything right. I'd say each pillar roughly took me about 2 hours each to get it done. The last thing we're going to do is work on what I've been calling the forks. Out of everything we've done, this is the most tedious and time-consuming part. Make sure you guys make small relief cuts or slits as needed, and make sure to also be very patient. Now, I've only shown you guys how to do one A-pillar, but all you have to do is just repeat the same thing on the other, and the same goes for installation. So I hope this helped you guys out. If you have any questions, make sure to comment down below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe if you liked this video. And thanks again for watching. And if you plan on doing this, good luck. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.